The Mangkwan. The Ash people have an official clan name, and their backstory explains why they hate the other Na'vi. According to recent leaks and strong fan community consensus, this volcanic tribe is widely believed to be called the Mangkwan. They were cut off from Eywa due to a natural disaster or eruption that devastated their homeland. Unlike the Omadikaya, who live in harmony with the forest, or the Metkaina, who thrive in the reef, the Mangkwan believe Eywa abandoned them to the flames. They represent the element of fire, symbolizing both destruction and rebirth in James Cameron's elemental expansion of Pandora. Cameron confirmed in a 2022 interview with 20 Minutes France that Avatar Fire and Ash will flip the script, presenting Na'vi as villains and humans as victims. The Mangkwan likely utilize ash and soot as camouflage, similar to the mud tactics Jake Sully employed in the first film. Their visual aesthetic has been described by production designers as gray, charred, and ghostly, a stark contrast to the vibrant blue of other clans. This fundamentally changes the franchise's morality. The story stops being simply blue good and human bad, introducing complex intertribal politics and showing that not all Na'vi share the same values or allegiances. Varang. The leader of this hostile tribe is played by Game of Thrones alumna Una Chaplin. Her character is named Varang, the Tsahik, or spiritual leader of the Ash people. Chaplin, the granddaughter of legendary actor Charlie Chaplin, brings significant dramatic weight to the role. Producer John Landau described Varang as aggressive and dynamic in promotional interviews. Theories suggest she serves as a dark mirror to Neytiri, another fierce protector who lost her way after tragedy struck her people. She is expected to be a recurring villain through Avatar 4 and Avatar 5, making her one of the franchise's most significant new additions. This introduces a female antagonist to rival Neytiri, setting up a potential matriarch versus matriarch conflict that explores how different leaders respond to loss and desperation. The Tlalim Clan. The Ash people aren't the only new tribe. Leaks revealed the existence of the Wind Traders. Known as the Tlalim Clan, they are a nomadic culture that travels through the air on giant jellyfish-like creatures that float in Pandora's atmosphere. Production designer Ben Proctor's concept art confirmed these remarkable mounts, which offer a completely new visual mechanic, distinct from the Ikran banshees we've seen before. The Tlalim function as the merchants of Pandora, trading goods between isolated clans across vast distances. This explains how the RDA might establish supply routes to and from the Ash people through existing trade networks. Their aesthetic involves orange robes and intricate weaving, giving them a distinct appearance from the more primitive look of forest tribes. They likely represent the air element in Cameron's expanding portrayal of Pandora's diverse ecosystems and cultures. This significantly expands the world-building beyond the forest and ocean, showing that Pandora has a sophisticated network of interconnected societies with their own economies and social structures. Peylak. Thulis, best known as Remus Lupin in the Harry Potter films, plays a Na'vi named Peylak. Empire magazine confirmed he is a member, or possibly a leader, of the Wind Traders, not the Ash people, as originally theorized by fans. Thulis described the character in interviews as a lot of fun and quite different from his usual villain roles, suggesting a more nuanced portrayal. Rumors suggest he plays a comedic or trickster role, contrasting with the serious tone of the war storyline. Thulis is a major character actor whose involvement suggests a significant dialogue-heavy role, likely providing exposition on the wider world of Pandora and the relationships between different clans. The Narrator Switch. James Cameron has confirmed a massive storytelling shift. Jake Sully is no longer the narrator. Cameron explicitly stated in an interview on the podcast Soundtracking with Edith Bowman that Loak will narrate Avatar 3. Jake narrated both Avatar in 2009 and Avatar: The Way of Water in 2022, establishing his perspective as the audience's entry point into Pandora. The plan is for a different narrator for each remaining film, with Loak handling the third installment and potentially Kiri or Spider taking over for the fourth. This implies Jake Sully may be captured, incapacitated, or sidelined early in the film, forcing his son to take center stage. Loak's narration suggests the story becomes a coming-of-age tragedy rather than a warrior's defense, framing events through someone born on Pandora rather than someone who came from Earth. This signals the official torch passing to the younger generation and fundamentally shifts the franchise's point of view toward those who have never known life without this conflict. Parker Selfridge returns. The corporate executive from the first movie is back with a larger role. Giovanni Ribisi confirmed he will reprise his role as Parker Selfridge, the administrator who prioritized profits over Na'vi lives in the original film. Producer John Landau confirms Selfridge has a larger role in Avatar, Fire and Ash than his brief cameo in Avatar, The Way of Water. He likely represents the funding anxiety of the RDA, as the war against the Na'vi becomes increasingly expensive and difficult to justify to shareholders back on Earth. He might be the one to authorize using the Ash people as mercenaries to cut costs and reduce human casualties. This brings back the corporate greed satire that made the first film resonate. The war isn't just a military operation led by Colonel Quaritch. It's also a financial calculation managed by people like Selfridge, who see Pandora purely as a balance sheet. The Seed Bearer Plot. A leaked title from 2018 might reveal the central plot device of the movie. In 2018, the BBC leaked potential titles for the sequels, including The Way of Water, The Seed Bearer, The Tulkun Rider, and The Quest for Eywa. While The Way of Water proved accurate, The Seed Bearer was eventually replaced by Fire and Ash as the official title for the third film. However, the seed concept may still be the main plot device driving the story. The Ash people's homeland was destroyed by volcanic activity, and they may need a seed from a spirit tree to regrow their connection to Eywa and restore life to their barren lands. They would target the Omaticaya or Metkayina specifically to steal a spirit tree seed, seeing it as their only path to salvation. This aligns perfectly with the Fire and Ash title, as they live in Ash but desperately seek the seed of life. It mirrors the unobtainium plot from the first film, but makes the conflict spiritual and biological, rather than purely about mineral resources. This explains why the Ash people would attack other Na'vi clans. It's not just hatred or violence for its own sake, it's survival and jealousy, a desperate attempt to reclaim what they believe was stolen from them when Eywa turned her back on their people. Scoresby's Revenge. The whaler who lost his arm isn't done with the Tulkun yet. Brendan Cowell's character, Mick Scoresby, is confirmed to return in Avatar, Fire and Ash. Empire magazine revealed a first-look image showing him with a high-tech mechanical arm, replacing the limb he lost to Payakan in the climactic battle of The Way of Water. He is no longer just in it for the money. Cowell stated in interviews that it's personal now, and Scoresby wants revenge on the outcast Tulkun who maimed him. He will likely equip his whaling ship with specific anti-Tulkun weaponry, designed to counter their natural armor and intelligence. This creates a personal antagonist for Loak and Payakan, separate from the main Ash people plot and Colonel Quaritch's vendetta against Jake. It validates the consequences of the second movie, proving that actions have lasting repercussions. You don't rip a man's arm off without creating a nemesis who will stop at nothing to even the score. By the way, if you're enjoying this, I post videos like this all the time. Subscribing would really help me out. The Anti-Eywa Cult. The Ash people don't just ignore Eywa, they might actively hate her. The Mangkwan live in a volcanic region where nature is destructive rather than nurturing, where fire consumes instead of sustains. According to this theory, they view Eywa as a cruel deity who abandoned them to the flames, while blessing other clans with lush forests and abundant oceans. While the forest Na'vi connect to trees through Pandora's biological neural network, the Ash people might sever these connections intentionally, possibly through ritualistic cutting of the queue or tswin that all Na'vi use to bond with animals and plants. This creates a religious war, not just a resource war over land or materials. It explains why they would ally with the RDA, following the principle that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. They are disciples of fire rather than disciples of the Great Mother, representing a fundamental theological split within Na'vi society. This introduces atheism or heresy to Pandora, challenging the spiritual unity we've seen throughout the first two films, and proving that even indigenous populations can have radically different belief systems. The Tulkun Civil War. The pacifist whales might have to break their own highest law. Payakan, the outcast Tulkun who befriended Loak, broke the sacred way of killing by attacking the RDA in self-defense. In Avatar, Fire and Ash, other Tulkun may be forced to join the war to survive, as the conflict escalates beyond anything seen before. The Ash people likely hunt Tulkun on behalf of the RDA, acting as collaborators in the Amrita trade that funds the entire war effort. This forces the Tulkun to choose between their pacifist principles and their survival as a species. The philosophical crisis is profound. Is survival worth losing your soul and abandoning the principles that define your entire culture? This expands the war back to the oceans, keeping the Way of Water assets and characters relevant in the sequel, while exploring deeper themes about the cost of war on those who refuse to fight. Neytiri's villain arc. While everyone focuses on the Ash people as villains, the real threat might be Neytiri's crumbling sanity. Neytiri has lost her father Etukan, her sister Silwanen, her ancestral home and home tree, and now her firstborn son Neteyam to humans and their war. In The Way of Water, she savagely slaughtered humans aboard the Sea Dragon and nearly killed Spider, a child, in cold blood as revenge for Neteyam's death. She may not accept Spider into the Sully family, despite Jake and Loak's wishes, causing a devastating rift within the family unit. She may advocate for total war and the complete genocide of all humans on Pandora, aligning her methods, if not her ultimate goals, with the brutal tactics of the Ash people. James Cameron stated this film explores good humans and bad Na'vi, and Neytiri might blur that line from the supposed good Na'vi side. This is not a story of her becoming evil, it's a fall of a hero arc, showing how she is broken and radicalized by grief and endless loss. She isn't a villain, she is a mother and warrior pushed past her breaking point. This creates deep emotional conflict within the Sully family, proving that sometimes the scariest threat isn't the RDA or hostile clans, it's watching someone you love lose their way. Bridgehead City. The RDA isn't just building a military base, they are constructing a permanent metropolis on Pandora. Bridgehead City was introduced in the opening of The Way of Water through the massive 3D printing montage showing its construction. It is surrounded by a kill zone extending 2 miles in every direction, enforced by automated defenses. In Avatar, Fire and Ash, audiences will see this city fully operational as a functioning human settlement. It will likely resemble a dystopian cyberpunk city dropped into Pandora's wilderness, evoking Blade Runner aesthetics with towering structures and industrial decay. It represents the dying Earth being transplanted to the rainforest, bringing concrete and pollution to a pristine world. The visual contrast will be stark and deliberate. We've spent 2 films immersed in nature's beauty. Now we see the industrial cancer growing and metastasizing on the planet. Amrita Funds the War. The yellow brain fluid from the second movie is the only reason this war continues. Amrita, the enzyme harvested from Tulkun brains, stops human aging and is worth $80 million per vial. This astronomical value makes the entire Pandora operation financially viable, despite its massive costs. The Ash people are likely paid in Amrita, or with weapons purchased using Amrita profits, creating a business partnership between the RDA and a Na'vi clan. This explains why the corporation tolerates working with the Mangkwan, despite their hatred of other Na'vi. They are business partners in the Amrita trade, not just military allies. Following the money grounds the conflict in economic reality rather than abstract evil colonization. The war persists because powerful people on Earth are willing to pay any price to live forever, and the RDA will facilitate any atrocity to meet that demand. The grayskin biology. The Ash people don't just act different, they look biologically distinct from all other Na'vi. Official descriptions from Cameron and the producers confirm the Mangkwan have gray or charcoal skin, instead of the blue that defines other clans. This is likely an evolutionary adaptation to volcanic sulfur and ash, providing natural camouflage in their harsh environment. Just as the Metkaina developed finned arms and flat tails for swimming, the Mangkwan likely evolved tougher skin to resist extreme heat and protect against burns. They might have distinct eye adaptations, such as nictitating membranes, to shield their vision from falling ash and volcanic particles. This reinforces the idea that Na'vi are not one homogeneous race, but a biologically diverse species adapting to their specific biomes. Evolution works quickly on Pandora, producing remarkable variations across different environments, and demonstrating the planet's incredible biodiversity extends to its sentient inhabitants. If this was interesting to you, consider subscribing so you catch every new video. Thanks for watching!